Hello and hope you have a good time. Today we want to talk about tea. Tea is a friend of many of us. When you return home tired from work, a cup of hot tea with the steam rising from it is the best relief for our tiredness. Most of the time when you are pouring tea in a cup, your eyes fall on the snacks on the table and you think to yourself which one to choose. On one side is sugar, on the other side is a box of turmeric, and on the other side are dates. Which do you choose in the end? Leading nutritionist will help you in this choice. So join us in the video. At first I should tell you lemon tea is not as good as you think. Adding lemon juice to tea only changes its taste. Lemon is one of the best sources of vitamin C as ascorbic acid. This substance is chemically weakly acidic, and on the other hand, tea is a weak alkaline substance. When we pour lemon juice into tea, the weak base of the tea reacts with the weak acid of the lemon and the effect of vitamin C disappears. The only citric acid that is added to tea through lemon will make the tea taste sour. If you add lemon juice to your tea, you should know that vitamin C is rapidly depleted in an alkaline environment, so your tea does not contain vitamin C. Subscribe our YouTube channel to watch the rest of this video and more. Factory iced tea has little nutritional value due to the processes performed on it and the addition of sugar. In fact, the amount of sweets in this tea has already been decided for you. This means that if you normally drink your tea with a small amount of sugar, you may get more sugar than you need by drinking iced tea. Factory iced tea is not a good choice for brewing tea, and if you want to drink iced tea, it is better to prepare the tea yourself in advance and add a little sugar or sugar according to your taste. Do you have any idea how much sugar we should eat per day? The simple sugar in sweets is called sucrose and the sugar in sweet fruits is called fructose. Both of these sugars, when they enter the body, are converted to glucose in the liver and eventually raise blood sugar. High blood sugar in a healthy person increases insulin secretion. A person who regularly consumes sweet feels hungry at shorter intervals of the day, which means that the total number of calories he receives per day exceeds his needs. In addition, high blood sugar acts as an oxidant and can damage all cells in the body. If this habit persists, it can lead to diabetes and related metabolic disease in the long run. The standard that is defined is that if we calculate the total calories received by a person per day, the consumption of simple sugars for a healthy person should not be more than 7 to 10% of his daily calories. For example, if a person needs 2000 calories per day, he or she should not get more than 170 to 200 calories from simple sugars. Each gram of pastry or simple sugar has 4 kilocalories of energy. So if we want to convert this amount of sweets into grams, it is enough to divide 200 by 4, which results in about 50 grams per day. Of course, it should be noted that this amount of simple sugar is not only obtained through sugar, but also canned foods, sweet fruits, or etc. cover these 50 grams. Do you know when tea became popular? About 80 years ago, the Iranian people were not familiar with tea, coffee, and Nescafe. This drink was first imported to Iran from India and China and then consumed in very small quantities, 1 or 2 small cups per day by the people. But in recent years, the consumption of this drink has increased in some groups of society, and since then excessive consumption of any food can be dangerous, and excessive consumption of tea, coffee, and Nescafe can also cause problems for people. Tea has diuretic compounds and increases the excretion of water and electrolytes from the body, which in turn can cause electrolyte disturbances in the body and have mild to severe side effects for the health of the consumer. Therefore, the first recommendation is that the consumption of tea and similar beverages should be in balance, and this amount for a normal person who does not have a specific digestive problem and disease is between 2 to 4 cups per day. Excessive consumption of tea can cause various problems. It can also lead to gastrointestinal disorders, constipation, and reflux. On the other hand, people usually consume their tea with a sweet food. These sweets usually have a lot of calories. So if you consume a lot of tea during the day, the large amount of calories and simple sugars that enter the body in this way can be problematic and even lead to weight and gain and obesity. In fact, large amounts of simple sugars in the body can be converted to fat, cholesterol, and triglyceride, which can eventually lead to high blood fats. Elevated cholesterol and hyperlipidemia can also lead to long-term cardiovascular disease, hypertension, and related disease. Therefore, balance should be observed in the consumption of these sweet foods, especially if the person has health problems and is overweight. In addition, all tea contain caffeine. Only their percentage may be different. Tea, coffee, Nescafe, and chocolate are the main sources of caffeine. Caffeine is one of the factors that reduces the smoky movements of the gastrointestinal tract and causes constipation. Dried or wet dates, what is your idea? There is not much difference between the properties and nutrients found in fresh dates and dried dates. The only downside is that dried dates are calorie-dense because they lose their water and the sugar in them is condensed, so its calories content is higher, while fresh or moist dates have more water and its calories content is less than its weight. But what are the antioxidant properties? Most chronic disease such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and cancer are rooted in cellular and molecular oxidation reactions. That is, they are rooted in substances that enter our bodies through polluted air, the remnants of pesticides, chemical toxins, and metal toxins with food. Oxidation reactions from these substances in the body damage cells and disrupt cell division. Inflammatory disease and cancer develop as a result. For example, if pancreatic cells are damaged, insulin production and glucose tolerance are disrupted and a person develops diabetes. If the walls of the arteries are damaged, cardiovascular disease will develop. Foods high in simple sugars and fats intensity in the inflammatory and oxidative reactions of free radicals. As a result, strengthening the body's antioxidants defenses is very important. Be careful, pregnant women should not drink too much tea. One of the most important thoughts that many people have today is that they think that eating any plant-based compound will not be a problem. But it should be noted that just because a food has plant roots does not mean that it is healthy. Consuming large amounts of an herbal substance can act like a medicine, and this medicinal property can cause side effects and problems, especially in vulnerable groups in society. One of the most vulnerable groups, they are pregnant women. A pregnant woman is more exposed to the dangers and contamination of food, chemical toxins, or overconsumption of various foods than a woman of the same age and condition. Therefore, a pregnant woman should be more balanced in consuming tea and coffee than other people. For example, if she drank a lot of tea before pregnancy, she should decrease this amount to 2 to 4 cups a day, because consuming more of it will be more vulnerable for a pregnant woman. More vulnerability means that if a normal person is at risk for electrolyte disturbances, constipation, reflux, or digestive problems, this risk is 2 to 3 times higher in a pregnant woman. A sugar cube or a spoonful of sugar, which one is better? There is not much difference between the two chemically, both contain sucrose. In industry, a sugar cube has been compressed and a spoonful of sugar has been pulverized. Just like sugar soil, which is no different. As for the types of sugars in terms of food hygiene, it should be said that factory-made chopped sugars are better than non-factory-made chopped sugars, unless the person buys the sugar from the factory and crushes it at home. Otherwise, the person who crushes these sugars may have contaminated tools or hands and transmit the contamination to the sugars. So if it is not possible for you to grind sugar at home, it is better to use factory-prepared cube sugars. Cardamom, cinnamon, and mint sweet. To what extent? Herbal ingredients such as cardamom, cinnamon, and mint sweet have antioxidant properties, and if added to tea, they increase its antioxidant properties. But we should not forget that this drink is related to people's taste and habits, and some people may like them and others do not like. However, it is emphasized that like tea, you should consume these substances in moderation. One of the most important principles in nutrition science is the principle of balance. This means that if tea, cardamom, cinnamon, and other substances that contain antioxidants are consumed in excess, they can have negative and adverse effect. For example, if a person drinks 3 to 4 cups of tea a day, it is better to drink 2 cups of it with cardamom, cinnamon, or mint juice, and the other 2 cups simply.